G'day viewers. Well, I hope this works. I'm in my new home and I haven't really set up a studio, so I'm just in the kitchen and I hope there's not too much ambient noise and this actually works. We can talk about the end of a week and it's totally fucked up Friday. And look, honestly, when you see some of the stories, it's forgivable if you think we are looking at the end of the world, or at least the end of human civilization, thanks to one Donald J. Trump. He's brought it forward a little bit. I thought it would take him slightly longer to have us staring down the barrel of annihilation. But the combination of dropping a huge bomb in Afghanistan, the massive ordnance airburst, aka mother of all bombs, and also at the same time threatening North Korea, saying if you do a nuclear test, we'll destroy the area where you do the nuclear tests. Well, you know, it doesn't feel good. So maybe, as I obviously can't influence Trump's behaviour or save us all from complete annihilation, maybe I'm just here to provide a cheap laugh. So maybe, rather than dealing with the horrible existential threat we all face, I'll just talk about silly things, try and lighten the mood. And I'm going to start with a particularly lovely story I saw in Australia this week about a guy who did a dash and dine from a seafood restaurant. Now, a dash and dine may not sound like an interesting story to you, but this one has all sorts of flavours. It comes from Queensland, where most of Australia's colourful stories come from, and there are so many elements of this that are beautiful. It's not just a dude ate over $600 worth of seafood and then tried to run off without paying. It comes with the possibly saddest description of an individual, 33-year-old aspiring white rapper calling himself Tupac is the centre of this. He had his meal that involved lobsters, oysters, octopus, and over $600 in total, and when the bill came, he did a runner. 33-year-old Terry Peck, after doing a runner, dived into the ocean to try and get away from the restaurant staff who were chasing him. And that in itself is pretty special. It's like, how am I going to get away from these people who want me to pay my $600 bill? I'm going to dive into the ocean. Look, dude, unless you are a triathlete, that isn't going to work for you, because you're just going to be out there treading water and they're just going to wait on the sand until you inevitably have to come in, which is what happened. But see, that in itself wouldn't be enough to make me talk about him. It's just like, oh, sad bastard does a runner and dives into the ocean. No, but he took it to the next level when he actually gave an excuse that said he was actually looking for his friend who was giving birth on the beach. And that's obviously a thing that happens. People give birth on beaches and then somehow tell their friend who happens to be eating a very expensive meal in a seafood restaurant, you should come down and help me give birth. And good old Tupac was unable to actually furnish this friend who was giving birth on the beach, but I don't think that's any reason to disbelieve him. Australian media has been reporting on this with quite a bit of glee, and I think the nastiest bit of shade thrown in this whole thing was one of the media outlets who pointed out that Tupac has on his Reverb Nation profile 56 fans. Okay, that's a bit mean. I'm not saying someone who's 33 thinks they're going to be a rapper and only has 56 fans on Reverb Nation is the very definition of failure. But you know, draw your own conclusions. Now the next thing I want to talk about is also in Queensland. Not really funny at all. So maybe this is going to be like a shit sandwich. I'll try to do like funny, horrible, and funny. Horrible is the Adani coal mine in Queensland, which I have talked about before. And it's just a fuck up. It's a shit show just almost beyond comprehension. See, an Indian billionaire has tried to open this coal mine, which is financially unviable, and not least, it's like with the world facing fucking destruction through climate change, more coal mining and more coal-fired power plants is the worst fucking idea ever. But this doesn't even have economics in its favour. See, none of the banks will loan this operation money because they've looked at it and gone, you're not going to make money. This is a fucking terrible idea. You're a hideous risk. We're not going to do it. So the federal government is talking about giving these guys a $1 billion loan for this mine because it's not viable. They've lied about how many jobs it's going to create. They've lied about the environmental impact. Like, the barrier reef is facing destruction at the moment. The amount of bleaching that's going on in the reef, which is largely a result of climate change, has got leading reef scientists just depressed beyond belief because they really believe the reef is going to totally die. Over half of the reef is facing severe bleaching, which has never happened before, and they're really worried it will never recover. And this mine poses a huge additional risk to the reef. But the one that blows my mind is the huge risk it poses to farming land in Queensland. And the Queensland Nationals, the most conservative of conservatives, have noticed this is probably a really bad idea for our constituents, the farmers in Queensland, and they're not keen on it, but the federal government's going, all right, yeah, we don't care if this is an environmental disaster and is a terrible contributor to global warming and doesn't even make economic sense. We should give this foreign company $1 billion of taxpayers' money because no bank will fucking touch them because the banks have looked at them. And that is how fucked politics is. These guys are so driven by ideologies like, no, we've decided that renewables is all left-wing and greeny, and despite the fact they make more economic sense than more coal mining and more coal-fired plants, we're going to finance something that can't make money. It doesn't make any sense whatsoever. It doesn't make sense environmentally, doesn't make sense just from the point of view of the continued existence of the human race, but it doesn't make sense economically. It doesn't make sense politically. It doesn't help Australia. It's a foreign country. It's just layers upon layers of fucked. But the federal government's going, nah, I think we'll do this. I think we'll just pour money down the toilet and ensure the destruction of human civilization. Because, you know, coal is good. And look, to round off, I want to be a bit more lighthearted. I saw a series of news articles, basically all on the same day, within a day of each other, and I think we could group them all under the hashtag masculinity so fragile. This is one of the many reasons I dump on anyone who advocates, calls themselves a men's rights activist, or the MGTOW, men going their own way. Basically, someone goes, I think feminism is the source of all my problems, when the source of all their problems is, you know, themselves, and they don't realise how clearly they show it to the whole world. Like, there's one with this dude just going, oh, why I'm suing my gym for their sexist women's only sessions. See, there's one of those clickbaity headlines that you're supposed to click through to the article to realise, well, what is the answer? Why? Why on earth could this guy be suing a gym for women's only sessions? I don't need to click through because I know the answer. The reason you're doing that is because you're a pathetic, worthless piece of shit. It's like the guy who did the sculpture of the raging bull outside the New York Stock Exchange. I've mentioned this story before. Someone put a sculpture of called the Defiant Girl facing down the raging bull. And just as a visual, it's really fucking cool. But the sculptor of the bull is upset and he's going, "That interferes with me and my ideal. I had this big, strong, masculine thing that overcompensated for all my inadequacies, and you've put a little girl there who's stronger than my big raging bull, and I feel, oh, look dude, the reason you're upset is not any artistic vision, it's because you're a fucking pathetic loser." And it's just, what really weirds me out is when the guys who do this don't realise you're just telegraphing to the entire world what a pathetic, inadequate, weak loser you are. And this guy's been smacked down by the New York Mayor, Bill de Blasio, who said, no, little girl, that is cool, that's staying. And honestly, the sculptor of that bull sculpture is a fucking loser. And interestingly, my other story in this area was also in New York. There was a headline in the New York Post with this dude saying, "Why I won't date hot women anymore." And you may be shocked to learn this, but the guy attached to that headline, "Why I won't date hot women anymore," is ugly as fuck. Now, I'm just going to throw out there that being less than supremely attractive isn't necessarily a barrier to you actually getting it on with someone who is hot, whether you're after the opposite gender or the same gender or whatever. And I'll put this out there because I've actually done the nasty with the hot ladies. So honestly, some people don't place looks above anything else. I'm evidence of that. But yeah, it was kind of funny to see this headline, "Why I won't date hot women anymore," and the picture is of this sadly inadequate, ugly as fuck motherfucker. But it's not just your looks. See, again, I didn't even have to read the article. Why you're not going to date hot women anymore? The answer is because they want nothing to do with you. Okay, no idea what the fuck happened there. I kept talking for a little while, but my camera apparently didn't record it. Technology is not being kind to me since I moved, but I'm not letting that stop me. I'm finishing up. It's the first of the regular videos. I intend to keep doing them. You might be able to guess, I don't have like a proper studio set up in the new house yet. There are still rooms full of boxes, namely there are two possible rooms where I might do my videos, and they're both full of boxes. So I'm improvising until then, like on the wall of ivy here. It's pity the leaves aren't all the uniform colour. I could try using this for chroma key, but it wouldn't work at the moment. Out here, surrounded in the noises of nature. Oh, why didn't I do this earlier? I made that video last night, Friday, and when I worked out there was a problem. It was really late and I was possibly really drunk and just went to bed. But hey, we're back online, and I'm here to show you the world really is totally fucked up.